With the reveal of Super Mario 3D All-Stars, 3 of Mario's greatest adventures, Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy, are all arriving in just a few days for only a $60 total, which is an absolute steal. In the trailer, they showed off every single Mario game included on the Switch, and just seeing this huge roster of Mario games was amazing, especially for me considering Mario is my favorite franchise after all. Seeing all of these games though had me wondering, what about the ones that didn't make it? So far there are 7, well technically 9, mainline Mario games that haven't been ported or made into a deluxe version on the Switch yet, as opposed to the 11 that will be there. Today I want to take a quick look at all of these missing games and talk about my general thoughts on them, if I think they'll be coming to Switch, and how I think they'll come to Switch if they do. I know a lot of people will misinterpret this video as me being mad that they say didn't include Mario Galaxy 2 in the collection, however that is not my intent at all. I think the collection is perfect the way it is, and I only want to talk about if and how the other games may be able to come. Before we start, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and maybe even subscribe, but with that out of the way, let's jump into the mainline Mario games that aren't on the Switch and if they may be able to come in the future. In this video, we'll be covering these games mostly in chronological order, which means we're going to be starting with Super Mario Land for the Game Boy. This is a pretty important Mario adventure, being his first ever game on a handheld, and also introducing Princess Daisy, who became an immensely popular character in the spin-off titles, and even as of Ultimate, Super Smash Bros. As well. This is one of the 3 Mario games I personally haven't played yet, the other 2 being Super Mario Land 2 and Sunshine, which I'm super excited to play here soon. In my opinion, this is easily the most likely game to come to Switch out of the 7. While Nintendo could be stopping at NES and SNES games for their online service, Game Boy games certainly wouldn't be too big of a surprise for me. It was Nintendo's first handheld console, and seeing as the Switch is a hybrid between a home and a handheld console, it would make sense to have the Game Boy represented in some way. And no, Link's Awakening HD doesn't count. I mean by adding many Game Boy titles to the Switch. If they do add Game Boy games to the service, Super Mario Land is an easy and obvious choice to be in the first wave. Really, this question is more about if I think Game Boy games are coming to the Switch, rather than if Mario Land itself will come. I definitely think Game Boy games are more likely than 64 games to be next, especially after Mario 64 was added into this collection, so that in turn makes Mario Land the most likely game for me out of all these games without a version on the Switch. Moving from the original Mario Land to its sequel, Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins. Like the previous title, this was also a very important game in adding on to the Mario cast by creating Wario, who takes the main villain role of this game. With his creation, he'd be able to start multiple of his own series like Yoshi and Luigi, and also be even more popular than Daisy in spin-offs in Smash Bros. Ever since Brawl, and even then he only narrowly missed out on being in Melee. As I said before, I can't really comment on how much I like this game considering I've never played it, but it's still an iconic part of Mario's mainline lineup. If this does come to the Switch, I think it'll be the exact same way its original version would be, which is in some sort of port onto some sort of Game Boy Online service. I think this one is slightly less likely though, only because it's a sequel, but it's pretty much equal with its original in terms of probability. Another possibility for both of these Game Boy games that I didn't mention though is that maybe they could be remade and added that way. We already saw Game Boy games like Pokemon Yellow and Link's Awakening get full remakes on the Switch, so it's certainly not impossible for Mario Land Switch remakes to happen down the line. Considering both Mario Land titles are very short games, it's possible that they could even be combined as remakes using the same engine and sold like that, which to me seems more likely than just one of them being remade. Obviously, a remake would be preferred because that'd be really nice, but I'm perfectly okay with the more likely simple port of this to the Switch Online service. We're jumping from 1992 all the way to 2006 with the revival of 2D Mario from New Super Mario Bros. As I said, this revived the 2D Mario formula after not having a new game in 14 years. That's older than like half of you. This was my first Mario game, so this one will always have a special place for me personally. The level design is just super fun, and the blue shell power-up is in my opinion a blast to use. The multiplayer mode was extremely fun, and I wouldn't even be surprised if I played that with my brother more than the actual game itself. Sure, this may not have introduced anything or anyone major into the Mario series like the Land titles, but this revived the 2D formula, and it did so in a great way. This game also brought back Dry Bones after him not appearing in a mainline title since Super Mario World, so I'll always appreciate this game for that. Dry Bones for Smash. But now, it's chances for it coming to Switch. Well, the first thing we have to look at is the system it was on. While Game Boy games are super simple to port over to Switch due to, you know, it having like no buttons, DS games are a bit more hard to do due to them having a touchscreen and dual screens. This isn't too much of an issue though, as they were able to get DS games to work on the Wii U eShop, so a Switch port with it looking sort of like this may be possible. New Super Mario Bros. Also used touch controls somewhat sparingly, only using it for the mini-games or to get an item which could easily be mapped to a different button. Now that we have established that it would be possible, we have to go over how it would come over and if it will. I definitely don't think DS games are coming to the service anytime soon, so the only way it would come is if it's in some sort of release or in a collection. I doubt it will have its own re-release, and while it's not super likely, it being in a collection does seem like a possibility, so let's go over the other two games that it could be with. We've come to our first home console Mario game out of these, and it also so happens to be my favorite of this set of Mario games, being New Super Mario Bros. Wii. This game was absolutely phenomenal, with each level feeling super fun, it having easily the best Bowser fight in the series in my opinion, which is only rivaled with Odyssey's for me if you include the escape section, and my two favorite Mario power-ups were also introduced here, being the Propeller Mushroom and Sword of the Ice Flower. The Ice Flower was in Galaxy, however its mechanics here were completely changed to be more like the Fire Flower, which makes it one of the best designed power-ups now in the series in my opinion, and it still makes me mad that it isn't in Mario Maker yet. The Propeller Mushroom is just super fun to use, which is why I love it so much. This is also the first Mario game to have simultaneous multiplayer, which is huge for me as being able to play with my family was so fun. Since this was a Wii title, porting this over will be much easier than a DS game and would require a lot less workarounds. The only thing that would need to be adjusted is how the pointer works, which as far as I'm aware is never required in this game at all. And plus, they already did the pointer stuff for Galaxy, so I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to do the same for Wii. To me, this one is just as likely as its predecessor on the DS, as I feel like it has just as much of a chance of getting a simple port as that one, but it has an even greater chance of being in a collection with the DS version. There is one more game that I believe would also be included in a collection like this, so let's go ahead and jump into that one now. The third game to finish out this New Super Mario Bros. Collection would of course be New Super Mario Bros. 2 from the 3DS. Since I wanted to go ahead and talk about the New Super Mario Bros. Collection, I decided to go outside of chronological order for a bit to go ahead and speak about this one. Of the New Super Mario Bros. Titles, this is definitely my least favorite. It just felt so bland and low on content, and while I still liked it, it's certainly nothing compared to the greatness of the previous two entries in this little mini-series. For that reason, I don't see there being any way this gets a standalone release before the other two, which makes it less likely than the others. Still though, if they wanted to make a collection, which I see more likely than standalone releases anyway, then this would definitely be included in that. This was of course on the 3DS, though if they did get DS games to work, then I'm sure that they could easily do the same for 3DS. But as of how likely a collection like this is, I'm not sure. I think if it's coming, next year is its best bet for the 15-year anniversary of the New Super Mario Bros. Series. It's far from impossible, even though I wouldn't say they're as likely to come as the Mario Land games. Still though, I think there's hope and I would be very excited to be able to play these games on Switch, specifically Wii and DS. Now we've got the one game that everybody has been complaining about it being missing from the collection, Super Mario Galaxy 2. I have no idea why though, 3 games is already great for $60, but also we've known that the 3 games that were in the collection would be the 3 we would get. But anyways, Galaxy 2 was Galaxy 1 again, with a few new additions like Yoshi and creating the best thing to come from the Galaxy games, Lubba. I definitely don't see this one getting a standalone release, especially with its original being released in a collection with 3 games. Wii games for Nintendo Switch Online isn't seeming very likely anytime soon as well, so unfortunately, Galaxy 2 may never arrive. The only ways I see this happening are if they release it as DLC for the All-Stars collection, if they make a Galaxy 3 for Switch, which I find even less likely, and even less likely than that is it comes with a Galaxy 2 as some sort of pre-order bonus, or it comes in some sort of second 3D collection. While there are at the moment technically only 2 mainline 3D Mario games not on the Switch, which could be in a collection like this, there is a third they could maybe shoe in, which we'll talk about in a bit. As of now though, Galaxy 2 coming to Switch doesn't seem very likely. Okay, well actually after writing the script, Nintendo showed off the title screen for Super Mario All-Stars, and interestingly it plays the Stargate theme from Mario Galaxy 2 instead of Galaxy 1. Take a listen. While it's not certain, this may be evidence to the fact that Super Mario Galaxy 2 is maybe a secret game in the collection or is coming as DLC. I just thought I should mention that, even though it likely doesn't really mean anything, and they may have just chose it simply because it fits really nicely as the title screen theme, which I definitely think it does. I really like how it turned out. Now onto the one I definitely think is the least likely of the 7, 3D Land. This kicked off the 3D and 2D gameplay hybrid sort of Mario games. While I enjoyed this game quite a bit, this is probably my least favorite 3D Mario game, only because the other ones are all so great and this one is still pretty good. I feel like Galaxy 2 would definitely be the choice over 3D Land here if they decided to port over one more game to the Switch, or if they wanted to have DLC for 3D All-Stars, and on top of that, Galaxy 2 would be easier as they could just reuse what they used for Galaxy in the collection, while on 3D Land they would have to create a whole new control scheme to make up for the 3DS exclusive features. However, I did state that there is a possibility for a second 3D Mario All-Stars game. These two would obviously be included, but this is our last mainline Mario game I have to talk about today. What would be the third game to round this out? Well, that would be the 100% underappreciated remake of Super Mario 64, Super Mario 64 DS. I love this version of the game just as much as the original, and aside from the mini-games, we wouldn't really be missing out on much with the lack of touchscreen in docked mode. This certainly has enough content on its own to be separated from its original for a second collection, as it has 3 new characters, 30 new stars, and a few new stages and power-ups as well. Now this is the only way I see Super Mario 64 DS ever coming to Switch, so that technically makes it the most unlikely game here, though it doesn't really count since it's a remake of one already coming over. I don't see this second All-Stars collection coming, unfortunately. It's certainly not impossible, but I'm not getting my hopes up for it. I think this 3D collection will be a one-time thing, or at least one time per console sort of deal. So even though all 3 of these games are great in their own ways, I just unfortunately can't see them coming to Switch anytime soon, and it would really require a miracle. Galaxy 2 though might be DLC like I said earlier. Oh yeah, there's that 9th game I mentioned earlier that technically counts as a mainline Mario game, that being Super Mario Run, released on mobile devices. Yeah, I wasn't going to include this, but I looked up mainline Mario games, and apparently, according to the Mario Wiki, this counts, so I wanted to mention it so that nobody would comment about it. Yeah, it was fine. It'll never come to Switch though, I'm nearly 100% sure of that. Well, that's about all I've got to say for Super Mario Run. And if I see even a single one of you point out how I didn't include Mario Maker because it was also on this list for some reason, I'm going to lose my mind. Well, with all 7 games plus 64 DS and Super Mario Run talked about, let's quickly go over how likely they are, in my opinion, relatively to each other. Mario Land 1 and 2 are easily the most likely games here, and are the only ones I'm betting will come in some way eventually. A new Super Mario Bros. Collection, including the 3 games that aren't on Switch, is another tier down. Certainly not likely, but I can possibly see it happening for the series' upcoming anniversary. DS and Wii are much more likely than 2 though, just because of how much more they are liked in comparison. In this same tier is Galaxy 2, just because I feel like it could be possibly DLC for the Super Mario 3D All-Stars after seeing the new title screen, or it could be a secret game, so since it has a slight bit higher of a chance than I thought before, it's going to be moved up onto this tier. 3D Land is another tier down, as I feel like it's very unlikely unless it comes in some sort of collection, with Super Mario 64 DS being on the same tier, as I feel like they'd both be in the same way. Finally, we have Super Mario Run on the very bottom tier because it'll obviously never happen. But anyways, that's it for this quick little video. Which Mario game do you hope comes to the Switch the most, and are you excited for 3D All-Stars? Let me know in the comments. I'm definitely hoping for New Super Mario Bros. Wii the most, though playing the land games for the first time would be great as well. I'm super hyped to play 3D All-Stars in just under a week now, and it's definitely my most anticipated game right now. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, and maybe even subscribe for more Mario and anything else Nintendo Switch. Links to my Twitter and Discord server are in the description, but anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.